I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, yeah. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, yeah. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh yeah.
Shalom, 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 and welcome to another week with your brother. I am Makkedah Yisrael, and this is What I See. And today's topic is going to be culture vultures, Kyrie Irving, and the destruction of the black nation. You heard that right. Culture vultures, Kyrie Irving, and the destruction of the black nation. So basically, before I begin, let me take my hat off. Let's give all praise and honor to the Almighty Yahweh, the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, the light of the world, and our soon coming King, Redeemer, and Deliverer. HalleluYAH. HalleluYAH. And also, before I begin, if you are new to my channel, it is a fairly new channel. Welcome, and please like, share, comment, and subscribe so that we can reach more of our brothers and sisters that's trying to hear this truth. And boy, brothers and sisters, this is the time to be living right now. This is a very, very exciting, a very, very frightening, a very, very happy. What other emotions can I give? Just a very, very emotional time to be living, especially based off of everything that we, the Hebrew Israelite community or the black community, some of our brothers don't like us using that word black as in black people, but listen, you can say black is not being black people. Don't label us that because we're not a color. It's okay to say that. Excuse me for a second. Excuse me. It's okay to say that. But there is a mass awakening happening in this country right now. All right? That spirit that the Almighty is putting on this earth to wake up his people, it really reminds me of the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, the valley of dry bones. We ain't going to go into that because I got a lot of information to bring out. But what we are going to go into is everything that we see in the media right now. Remember, this is a page where Brother Makkedah Yisrael, myself, as a watchman for Yisrael, I'm reporting what I see going on in this country, going on in this around this world, and things that I see that's coming through the Spirit of Yahweh and His Son Yeshua HaMashiach. We're going to go into the culture vultures. We're going to go into what's happening with Kyrie Irving. Speak on Ye a little bit. I'm going to also bring out someone else that we all are familiar with. I actually was going to wear a shirt with his name on it, but I said, no, I'm going to save that for another time. But we're going to go ahead and get right into this. All right. I think I covered the bases. First and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to define the word culture vulture. All right. Because the culture vultures are the people who are upset with Kyrie Irving. They are upset with Kanye West right now. And excuse me, I don't mean to disrespect the brother. He asked to be called Ye, so that's what we're going to call him. They're upset with Ye. They're upset with Kyrie Irving. And I mean, they are going hot and heavy at these brothers. All right. So just to give you a little background, these culture vultures, the word culture vulture we're going to get into, been around since 1945. But the spirit of being a culture vulture goes back to the days of slavery. And let me explain why. All right. We all know that slavery was abolished in 1865. Oh, everybody knows that. And if you are a black person who does not know that, my brother, my sister, go ahead and get you a book. And I have one right here that you can get. Let's start with this. You see that? This is called The Destruction of the Black Civilization. All right? Go ahead and get this book. This book is written by Chancellor Williams. And it's a beautiful book. And it says Great Issues of a Race from 4500 BC to 2000 AD. You need to go ahead and read and read up on your culture, because you know they want us to remain ignorant. They don't want us to know about our culture. But going back to 1865, they abolished slavery, and the problem was they promised us 40 acres and a mule. Ye just mentioned that in the media. All right. And why are black people so upset with Ye and Kyrie Irving? I really don't know, but we're going to address that as well today. Oh, we got a lot. And brothers and sisters, I've been collecting data and studying and reading up on all this stuff. And I got so much stuff to bring out, but I'm not going to bring it all out because I can't bring it all out at once. So I'm going to be very, very picky on the topics and the videos and things that I'm going to use today. 1865. Let's go ahead and finish this. So in 1865, slavery was abolished. And the problem was, after we were promised 40 acres and a mule, you know, the powers that be, we're going to use that. That's going to be one of the words we use today. The powers that be at the time reneged on that promise. All right. There was a war at hand, and they needed our service to help them for their agenda. Anybody that believes that war was fought to free slaves, you're out of your mind. That's not why that war was fought. All right. The freeing of the slaves was a consequence for needing to get the extra bodies to help them. But it wasn't the agenda. And so once that the slaves was, freed, of course, they created the 13th Amendment and basically reinstituted slavery and basically said that slavery is abolished except for in commission of a crime. So that means anytime you get locked up as a black man, woman, or child, you go back into slavery. But even that's not true, because yes, you will get locked up and you will serve them in their private prisons. You know, they call that the school to prison pipeline. Ever since you're a young boy or girl, you're conditioned to get ready for prison. You know, and even not physically, but mentally. Mentally, we are in a prison. And that's where we at today. We are mentally in a prison. And so they freed those people, you know, from the physical chattel slavery, but they didn't have any economic help. So what was they supposed to do? What were they supposed to do? Just leave and flee and just start eating food off the side of the road? Yahweh said that the earth is cursed right now because of sin. So they couldn't survive just by themselves. They needed to know where to go and they had nowhere to go. And so those culture vultures who used our talent of picking cotton, and yes, it's a talent. There's an art to picking cotton. Yes, brothers and sisters. Nobody can go out there and just pick cotton. Your hand will be bloody by the time you finish. You have to know what you're doing. It's an art. All right? And they used our talent to literally build the economic wealth of this country. And many of those culture vultures did not want to let our people go. They did not want to lose that, because 100% of their fortune, 100% of their economy was based off of cotton and tobacco and all the other commodities that they were selling, that they were using slaves for. My ancestors, your ancestors, our ancestors. And so what they would do is, like, if you want to live, you want to keep your house, you want us to keep giving you the scraps off of the pig. And they knew that the pig was unclean. They know that. Look who we dealing with, brothers and sisters. They know the Torah. They claim to know the Torah. Look who we're dealing with. But they didn't want to let us go. They didn't want to let their property go. So what did they do? They tried to give them pennies on a dollar, or say, you know, you want to stay here, you continue to work for us, or you're not going to have any way to live, or you're not going to have any clothing, you're not going to have any food. And that is what's going on today, and that is why they're mad at Kyrie Irving. That is why they're mad at Ye. That is why they're mad at anybody who opens up their mouth against their establishment. This ain't a race thing. It just so happens that the people that bought, transported, used, abused, kidnapped, raped, murdered our slave ancestors happen to be the same people that own the music industry, the theater industry, the media, that are the higher ups above in politics. It's the people that the politicians answer to. Because when you control the money, you have the power. And brothers and sisters, we need to learn that we have power as well. And first and foremost, our power comes from above, because black people are the most spiritual people on the face of this planet. That's because not all black people, but a majority of black people, our bloodline does come from the Shemitic bloodline, Shem. You go to the Table of Nations, Genesis chapter 10, you can trace that bloodline down to us. And then in that book also, if you go into the Gentiles under Japheth, his descendants, one of his descendants was Ashkenaz. And you ask yourself, who is Ashkenaz today? All right, brothers and sisters, we're going to go ahead and begin. First, let's go ahead and define the word culture vulture. I'm going to go to the Urban Dictionary. And I'm just going to read, because they got several definitions here. I'm going to go ahead and read this first one. First definition for culture vulture reads, a person or an organization making profit using unhonorable practices from a culture they do not care for. Sounds about right to me. Here's an example in music. Major record labels signing the latest viral rapper, exploiting them for the max returns, even if their music sucks. All right? And they got other examples and stuff like that. But again, the etymology of the word, the origin of the word, started to peak around 1945, 1950. And what's interesting around that time frame is around the time that the Balfour Declaration was signed. And for all you who don't know what the Balfour Declaration is, that's the declaration that was signed that legally made Israel a state or providence over there in the land of Israel. All right. So we covered that. So what I wanted to go on now is, who are the people that these so-called culture vultures prey on now? It's the people we see in the media right now going through it hot and heavy. That's Kyrie Irving, Ye. Not too long ago, it was Nick Cannon. You know, back in the day, back when NWA was hot and heavy with the gangster music, you know, and that whole gangster music ordeal was orchestrated by the culture vultures. They wanted to take our talent, but they wanted to use it against us. So they poisoned our community by putting that music in our community, and that rapped about black men killing each other, disrespecting our women, you know, drinking, doing drugs, you know, getting guns, you know, fighting, partying, drinking, everything you can name of. That's what gangster music represented, and it was poison. I'm guilty of participating in myself. I am. And at this time, in front of all of y'all, I want to look up to heaven where my Father sits on the throne, and I want to ask him to please forgive me for my participation in that community, in that culture. Please forgive me, Heavenly Father. Please. Hallelujah. And because I was a rapper, I was local, but we rapped about that same type of nonsense back then. We was in that culture. We were doing shows, local shows, and our local newspaper wrote about us and everything. We was making a little bit of noise, you know. But we went from the conscious rap to this garbage, and it is so bad for our culture. We should not be letting our children hear that. And I'm gonna go into where it originated at too today. I know a lot of people's attention span isn't that long today in this time, but I know for the Hebrew Israelites, stay tuned to the end of this, and you're gonna see me bring out a scripture that went into this a long time ago. All right. So with that said, the people that they prey on, we're gonna go ahead and first, before we get into the video footage, I'm gonna go to a couple scriptures first. Let's go into Matthew chapter 5. Let me turn to it. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 5. Let me take off my hat. Matthew chapter 5. Let's pull it out. Reading verses 13 through 16. And it reads, you, everybody that's watching this from the black community, listen up. You are the salt of the earth. I could stop right there, because that's who you are. You are the salt of the earth. And what does the salt have? The salt has the flavor. It adds the flavor to the entire meal, right? Too much salt can be dangerous. That's why we're giving too much of our talent to the world, and that's why it's so dangerous. It's polluting the ears, it's polluting the eyes, because we're giving too much of our talent, all right? You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its flavor, how shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. You use and abuse your salt, you being a salt, you're going to lose your flavor. Overexposure, you're going to lose your flavor. Nobody's going to respect you. And then you're going to be trampled on. And that's what culture vultures do. They trample on you, right? You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. That's who we are. That's what Kyrie Irving is trying to tell you. That's what Ye is trying to tell you. You are the true children of Israel. All right? You are the light. You are the light. You are the light that brings all the people to Yahweh. All right? Listen to this. Nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. See what I'm saying? That's us. We are supposed to bring all the rest of the nations into the house of Yahweh, and we are supposed to light up that house for all to see it, right? Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. See, That is what our talents is for. And we have a video that goes into that. And for all y'all who want to see that video, what's the name of that video? The true name of that video is Yisrael using Yah's gifts to turn from him. If anybody who wants to see that, I'll put the link of that in the video's description, and you can watch it. You know, that's what we are. We Yah's chosen people. And a lot of times we use our gifts to serve Shaitan rather than Yahweh. Yahweh bless you with a beautiful voice. You're supposed to sing to Yahweh or sing to his people about Yahweh. That's what singing is for. It's okay to sing a love song and something like that to your wife or to your husband, you know, but Yahweh created singing to glorify him, dancing to glorify him. King David used to dance to glorify Yahweh. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to use our talents to glorify Yahweh. My talent, I'm a builder. My job is to build to Yahweh. One of the problems is we're not in the land anymore. You know? And I use my talent to help build for Yahweh. The last temple I used to go to, never asked for a dime. I didn't want any money. I'm serving Yahweh. So anything they needed electrically, I was there. I didn't ask them people for no money. And people had a little trouble with their electrical. Call Brother Makkedah. I'm over there. I'm gonna take care of it for you. I don't want nothing from you. That's just how I am. All right. So with that said, let's go to this scripture as well, and then we're gonna get into some of this video footage. Let's go to Matthew chapter 4. All right, one chapter before. All right, and let's point out something. All right, we're going to be reading Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11. All right, and it reads, "Then Yeshua was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil." This is right after Yeshua had got baptized and was immersed, and then the Ruach HaKodesh, or what the world calls the Holy Spirit, came upon him, right? So he went out to the wilderness to get tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, afterward he was hungry. I can only imagine how hungry he was after that. Now when the tempter came to him, you hear that? The tempter. And what does this music and all this culture from the hip-hop culture and the music and the movie industry, it tempts you. It tempts you. You see all the visuals and the videos and all that. Naked women. No covering at all. I'm also going to be going in that on the other page about how important it is to have a covering in these last days. Because our women don't have no covering at all. And when you don't have a covering, you're going to be led astray. All right, so I'm going to go into why. And I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, it's getting serious. So now when the tempter came, this is verse 3. He came to him and said, "If you are the son of the Almighty, Elohim, command that these stones become bread." But he answered and said, "It is written, man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of Elohim." For y'all who don't know what Elohim means, because we use that because I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I'm trying to bring out as many Hebrew words as I can. I'm studying the language, but Elohim means God in Hebrew. All right. Then the devil took him up into the holy city, sat him on the pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, "If you are the son of Elohim, throw yourself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge over you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against the stone." Did you see what the devil just did? The devil just tried to use the word of Yahweh against the word of Yahweh. You see how arrogant this man is? You see how prideful he is? He's trying to offer Yeshua the entire world, something that he created. And that is what the culture vultures do. They try to offer you the world because the world has been offered to them and they accepted it. Who is their power from, brothers and sisters? You seeing who has the power to give even Yeshua the world. But what did Yahshua did? This is verse 7. Yahshua said to him, it is written again, you shall not tempt Yahweh your Elohim. Why did he say that? I thought Yahshua and Yahweh were two separate entities. Yahshua is the word of Yahweh, and that's why he's saying it. Again, the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, all these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me. And that's what the devil did. Those people fell down and worshiped the devil, and he gave them the world. You don't acquire that much wealth by yourself. See? Even Ye, he acquired all that wealth, and look who took it away from him. Because he professed Yahweh and Yahshua. Yeah, he's using the Lord and Jesus, but we know exactly who he's talking about. He's professing the Most High, and the devil doesn't like that. And that's why the devil took it away from him. The devil doesn't like us glorifying Yahweh, and the devil does not like us telling the world who we really are as the true children of Israel. That is why they're mad at Kyrie Irving, and that is why they're mad at Ye, and that is why they want them to repent or relent. Let's finish this. Then Yahshua said to him, away with you, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship Yahweh your Elohim, and him only shall you serve. They got all them synagogues and all that stuff. Are y'all really serving Yahweh? Because this is the thing. If you are claiming to be the children of Israel, and you claim to worship Yahweh, like Yeshua just said right here, that's who you should worship. You should be bringing everybody together. And you should know that there's not just one Shemitic people. Shem has an entire bloodline of descendants. There's Arabs that are Shemitic. There's Africans that are Shemitic over there in that land, because Israel is in northeast Africa. Yahshua went to Egypt, which is in northeast Africa, to hide from Herod and blend in with those people. There wasn't no white man that went to Egypt to blend in. You would have got spotted like a daggone red dot on a criminal's forehead. Come on, y'all. Come on, we got to wake up to this truth. Last, then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. And that's what we got to do. We got to withstand the devil. We got to withstand the devil so that we can make it to the end and have the angels ministering to us so that we can judge the world. That's what's going to happen. Israel is going to judge the world. Now, do you really think that Yahweh is going to put these people over top of the entire world to judge the world? And they are the most wicked people on the face of this earth? Exploiting people's talents for billions and billions of dollars? This is no jab against the whole entire Jewish nation. Because if you are truly a Jew, practicing Judaism, then your job is to serve the Almighty Yahweh. And you should be speaking out against those people as well. But the problem is, Jews stick together. It doesn't matter if you're wicked or not. They're gonna support you because that's what they do. And the point I was making today on an IG post is that we do need to boycott the NBA. We need to boycott any of those platforms, any of those companies and industries that are trying to make us shuck and jive just so that they can keep their billions in and keep those culture vultures happy. We need to boycott it. especially if it's not good for our people. All right. So we're going to go into a video on one of the biggest culture vultures in the hip hop industry. And we're going to let the video go ahead and do what it's supposed to do. This is a video of 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗀 on the Breakfast Club. Let's check this out.
Really rough, particularly on women. But I think it helped change the course of the crack epidemic. I don't know what's this opioid thing, man.
But being a crackhead wasn't cool back then. Being a crackhead wasn't cool. Now they seem like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and
it's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
But I'm saying that's hypocritical, though. You're saying
it's opportunistic.
Yeah.
I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
Who's Dame Dash? You brought him up. I don't even know him. So you bring his name up. I don't even know him. So
y'all made a lot of money together.
Made a lot of
money.
Come
on, Leo. Don't do that to him.
I don't know him. I really don't. So, I don't know what to tell you. I won't.
All right. You heard him right there. This is 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗀, one of the owners of Def Jam Records. And first off, in the video, you see that he sits there and he gets frustrated. That's the first thing that happens. He gets frustrated. They're asking him the questions. And basically, they're asking him, like, if the music industry, the rap music, hip-hop industry is so destructive, especially with the drug culture and everything that it promotes, why are you allowing this? And what did he say? He said that he can't give up on people because he got mouths to feed. So basically what he's saying is, well, they making me billions of dollars, so what do I care? Or millions of dollars. Then he sits there and he lies, he blatantly lies, and says that he doesn't know who Damon Dash is. Now, as you all know, before the split, Damon Dash was one of the CEOs of Rockefeller Records. And Rockefeller Records was being distributed under Def Jam Records at the time. So how could you not know who Damon Dash was? That's a blatant lie. Everybody know that's a lie. And I'm going to go ahead and prove it to you right here. We're going to go into another video. This is basically 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗀 opens up about Jay-Z, Damon Dash, and Biggs.
Go. If I'm missing anybody, Dame and Jay. Well, I mean, everybody knows Damon was just and Biggs. Damon was screaming all the time. I don't even know for what. For what passion? What was just at a certain point, part of the key in this business is to help motivate people to work to a common goal and to create a vision and articulate the vision and have people working, motivate people. And screaming and insulting and irregular, it was all over the place. Wasn't productive. I don't know.
Did y'all have a clash? Did y'all ever have a relationship?
I thought that we had a relationship. I thought that we enjoyed enough success to have an understanding of one another. Yeah. But I think there became a moment in time where this thing became really, really big and multi-dimensional. And, you know, there are people who work really well when things are percolating and small and growing, but when they become big, the transition is difficult. So, you know.
Okay. So we see that he admits to knowing not only Jay-Z, but Damon Dash and Biggs, right? And he said that, you know, he wanted to work towards a common goal and a common vision with them. And if you go back to Rockefeller Records and their type of music that they put out, it was always drugs, money, murder. That's what their whole entire music was about. I used to listen to Jay-Z back in the day. I used to listen to, you know, Beanie Siegel and who were some of the rest of them? All of them. Can't remember some of their names right off top. It's been so long, but I used to listen to it, and I can definitely tell you, it was a murderous type of vibe with their music, right? And it was very, very popular. You know, even rappers such as Nas and, you know, DMX and all of them back during that time, you know, rapped about murder and drugs and women and all kinds of stuff. You know, popping bottles and making as much money as you could. You know, that's the lust of the flesh, and that's what they were rapping about. And this is what Leon said he had a common vision and a commonality with, a common goal. So then he admits to having a relationship with him. And then he talked about how when they become big, meaning the rappers, they become difficult. And the reason why he's saying that they become difficult is because, you know, as a culture vulture, he wants to remain in control. And when they don't, you know, stay under his wing, then he gets angry. I'm going to prove it to you. Let's go to the next clip. This is a clip of Leor talking about Irv Gotti, and then I'm going to be done with Leor, and then we're going to get into some other footage. Here we go.
At what point did you feel Irv was ready to run a label in contrast to just being A&R?
Till the motherfucker took it from me. Okay, I would have had him still in fucking A&R for Def Jam had he not said, fuck that. I'm making you too much money. And Irv took. Every great person took what they had. I didn't give him shit. He grabbed it, snatched it, and did it on his own. Because I would have had him still A&R for us, had he not had the nuts to go out on his own and bring it. Because, you know, a lot of these A&R people are comfortable as a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
They prefer being, you know, revered A&R people that don't do dick. Irv, you know, brought it and then moved on. I'm happy to have a piece. The people who put it on the board, the A&R people, the creative people, are the ones that are the bosses. Okay? I made that perfectly clear. And so it was fun for me. It was a breath of fresh air. This guy used to stomp through my door and say, we're gonna sell 5 million albums. I looked at him like he was fucking on crack. And then guess what? Sold 5 million albums. And it, you know, after a couple of epiphanies, you know, predicting the future, you start writing and listening and doing what he tells you to do. You see, really, the one thing that Gotti's figured out is that he's the boss. You know what I'm saying? He tells us what to do, we do it. We know what's smart for us. It's simple. Irv decided to go, you know what? I'm going to invent the Irv Swerve. I'm going to go and learn this radio shit. And guess what? He learned the radio shit. I'm going to go and I'm going to know about sales. And he learned about sales. I'm going to start this company and create opportunities and employment opportunities for, you know, a bunch of people that would not be employed right now. Instead of, you know, a series of other record companies that will remain nameless, that jerking themselves off and jerking their whole crew off and think it's all about diamonds and cars and how many bitches they could fuck. Irv and his crew are all about their money, building a company that withstands cold periods, because we all get cold. But they're building a company, a sophisticated company, a company that could have revenues of several hundreds of millions of dollars. A company that has an incredible executive talent, that know how to sign and develop and nurture acts and grow. And so what's the future hold is, I think the future is bright, because there's an enormous amount of inspiration involved in what Irv is doing and 𝗀 is doing. I mean, come on. He's one of 8 kids. He was last to eat at the table. Okay? Last. They had one bathroom. You know what I'm saying? They used to eat in shifts. Okay? It's a different thing right now. So, you know, thank God for America.
He coming off as a hater, all right? So the first thing he talks about is how badly he wanted to keep Irv Gotti as an A&R. He wanted to keep him on the underside of business. He didn't want him to elevate to, you know, being in a role similar to his. And that's how they want. That's how culture vultures want. You know, they want to exploit us for our talents, but they want to keep us docile so that we don't rise up and then we don't need them anymore, because they don't have talent. They're not the ones with the talent. We are. All right. And so he said that at the end, you heard him. He said that if it was up to him, you know, at the end, he said he talked about, no, this is what he did. He talked about how, you know, he was the last to eat. He was 1 out of 8 children, right? So he's saying that he's 1 out of 8 children, but yet he's the last to eat, but yet you want to keep him, you know, in shackles, so to speak. See, it's that slave mentality. They want to keep us in chains, and they don't want us to elevate. You see what I'm saying? And so that's my point. They don't want us to elevate, and they want us to stay in our place. And this is why they keep pressuring Kyrie Irving to apologize. All right. So another thing I want to go into real quick. We're going to shift gears to Mr. Ye. It's kind of hard not to say Mr. West anymore, you know. That's one of his nicknames. But it's kind of hard, you know. It's something that we got to get used to. So the next thing I want to go into is some information about Kanye. Now, Kanye is a very strategic artist. And what he does is he uses his platforms to just expose them, but nobody's really paying attention, but probably a good 25%, you know, and I'm just guesstimating. All right, this ain't no facts and no data, so don't come at me and like, well, what is the facts, brother Makkedah? But I'm estimating that it's only like a good 25% of us that's really like, Ye knows exactly what he's talking about. Maybe more, all right? But there's also a lot of haters out there, and all the haters got to do is pay attention, read, study. Open your eyes and your ears so you can see what's going on. All right. So we're going to start with Ye and his trainer, a trainer named Harley Pasternak. And I'm going to post these texts on the screen for you. And basically, this is Harley Pasternak right here. And one of the texts, it says that this shows Harley admitting to knowing the truth of our origin, but then later dismissing the facts within the same text chain. Mind you, this is how a Hollywood trainer speaks to a far more influential black celebrity when we get out of line. This is out of Kanye's own mouth, right? So you see where he basically circled where it says your origins might be Jewish, all right, or Hebrew. Your origins might be Jewish, but then he circles. It says that is discussed is based in fact and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you or you saw in a tweet. All right. So Kanye's exposing him, right? And then it says, I was told, here's another part of the text. I was told that if I expose the truth of the bad business practices, everything is going to be taken from me, including my black children, and everyone has bore witness to the public 𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗲. But God has put something on my heart not to back down. All right. So then, this is the last part of this segment. He goes and posts what 𝗁𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗲 Pasternak responded. And this is what it reads. I'm going to help you one of a couple ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words, and everything that is discussed is based in fact and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you or you saw in a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever. Playdate with the kids just won't be the same. Do you understand the ramifications of what this man just said to this black man? He basically threatened to put him in a loony bin. All because all he's doing is bringing forth truth. See, they don't want the truth to come out. You know, everybody's angry over the documentary and the books that Brother Ron Dalton has put out. But nobody has actually seen it except for the Hebrew Israelite community and those that are waking up to the truth now. You know, everybody's speaking on it and saying it's anti-Semitic, but yet they haven't even seen it and can't tell you what's anti-Semitic about it. It's like I mentioned before. They have a problem because these are black men that are speaking out who are waking up to their identity, and they're not bowing down to culture vultures anymore. That is the problem. All right. So this is exactly why they keep trying to get Kyrie Irving to apologize. Over and over and over again. So let's go ahead and play the Kyrie Irving latest video, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on.
Are you sorry for the hurt that your posts caused people?
I'll take my responsibility for posting that. Some things that were questionable in there, untrue. Like I said, and the first time you guys asked me when I was sitting on that stage, I don't believe everything that everybody posts. It's a documentary. So, taking my responsibility.
It seems like Adam Silver wanted to hear the word "I apologize," or in your mind, you said, "I didn't mean to cause any harm." Were you apologizing, or did you not apologize?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
What are the specific things in the documentary that you don't believe are true and that you don't believe represent your wrongs?
I think some of the criticism of the Jewish faith in the community, for sure. Some points made in there that were unfortunate.
Kyrie, are you surprised that you did hurt people?
Surprised that I did hurt people?
Are you surprised that reaction and some of the things that you did hurt people?
Yeah, I think I can ask a better question. It's just, where were you when I was a kid, figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid learning about the traumatic events of my familial history and what I'm proud to come from and why I'm proud to stand here and why when I repeat myself that I'm not going to stand down, it has nothing to do with dismissing any other race or group of people. I'm just proud of my heritage and what we've been through. And the fact that this has pinned me against the Jewish community. And I'm here answering questions of whether or not I'm sorry or not on something I didn't create. And it was something I shared. And I'm telling everybody I'm taking responsibility. Then that's where I sit. So, you know, these same questions that you guys ask, me dealing with it as being a melanated, pigmented person all around the world and dealing with racial biases against my skin color, demeaning me because of my religious beliefs, and I'm still sitting in the seat standing. So I take my full responsibility. Again, I'll repeat it, for posting something on my Instagram or Twitter that may have had some unfortunate falsehoods in it. But I also am a human being that's 30 years old, and I've been growing up in a country that's told me that I wasn't worth anything, and I came from a slave class, and I come from a people that are meant to be treated the way we get treated every day. So I'm not here to compare anyone's atrocities or tragic events that their families have dealt with generations of time. I'm just here to continue to expose things that our world continues to put in darkness. I'm a light. I'm a beacon of light. That's what I'm here to do. You guys ask me questions about basketball, I give you my expert opinion. You guys ask me about other things, I give you my opinion, and it's met with whatever you believe the perception or the deception is. You guys investigate my life every day, and you justify it by serving your own purpose, which I honor. I would like the same respect in return, figuring out just like anyone else. So please keep that same energy when we're talking about anti-other things, because just because I post a documentary doesn't mean I'm anti-Semitic, and doesn't mean that I'm automatically standing with everyone that is believing in that. So it's unfortunate timing that we're in, but I'm glad that I could stand on the truth, because I'm not afraid of these mics, these cameras. I used to be, looking everyone in the eye and telling them the truth, and I'm proud of who I am. Any label that you put on me, I'm able to dismiss because I studied. I know the Oxford Dictionary, you look it up, right? Just one of the biggest mistakes I had in being a kid was not knowing European or Western language until I started looking it up and understanding the definitions and why they say, if you want to trick a black person, put it in the book. I was wondering my whole life why they said that. Now I'm 30 years old and I know reading is a superpower because it helps me understand where I'm going and where I come from. Like a tree with roots.
Kyrie, the documentary listed among falsehoods. It said the Holocaust didn't happen. Do you believe the Holocaust
those falsehoods
happened?
are unfortunate. And it's not that I don't believe in the Holocaust. I never said that. Never, ever have said it. It's not come out of my mouth. I never tweeted it. I never liked anything like it. So the Holocaust in itself is an event that means something to a large group of people that suffered something that could have been avoided. No one said we had to practice racism. No one said we had to treat each other like garbage. No one said that I had to stand here today and understand that many people that come from generations 60 years ago, 40 years ago, enslaved some of my ancestors still, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and it's still going on. And you guys are asking me, respectfully, to speak on something that was a documentary that I had nothing to do with. I didn't make it. So just please keep that same energy when you guys are addressing me.
Kyrie, for the record, do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs?
Again, I'm gonna repeat. I don't know how the label becomes justified because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again. But this is not gonna turn into a spin around cycle of questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
What does that mean? Kyrie,
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
Kyrie, did you personally meet with the ADL?
I was informed that they wanted to have a meeting, and we handled it.
All right. That was a lot that came out in that video. I'm gonna try to unravel it. Back when I was a new journeyman out of my time, I was doing this job here in Baltimore, Maryland, downtown. It was a parking garage that we was doing. It was a pretty cool job. I have no qualms about it. But I was paired up with this guy. I'm not gonna say his name. He's a white guy. He was really, really cool. We had a really, really good relationship. We were similar in age, and we both like to work with big conduit. For those who don't know what big conduit is, like the big electrical pipes. You had to bend and make all the pipes look good and stuff like that. And I had this thing about my work cart. If you see my work cart, everything was organized. It was really nice. I had my toolbox on there. I had this thing about people not touching my tools and my material. But if you ask me, then I will give it to you. Everybody knew that. Like, don't even touch my cart. Don't even lean on it. Don't anything. Everybody knew that about Brother Mark at the time. And one day, we were paired up, but one day the foreman had put him in another area of the parking garage, and I was still in the electrical room that we were working on. And he came and asked me, did I have a 1/4-inch bit? And I was like, let me check. So I checked. I said, no, I don't have a 1/4-inch bit. You have to go to the tool room. So he left, came back probably like 15 minutes later. Hey, Mark, you got a 1/4-inch bit? I was like, man, I already told you I don't have a 1/4-inch bit. He was like, all right. Came back a few more times asking the same thing. Then it got to the point where it was just downright hilarious. I guess you had to be in the moment, but I was like in stitches because it was like asking in different ways, and it was just hilarious. And my whole point is, this is exactly what they're doing to Kyrie Irving. It's funny, it's exhausting, and it's annoying. All right, all in one. They keep asking the brother the same exact question because they want to muscle him into submitting to them. That's what culture vultures do. Again, that's what they wanted. They wanted our ancestors to do back during slavery. They wanted us to submit. All right, we don't need to make money. Just give us, somewhere to sleep and some scraps, and we'll continue picking your cotton. And Kyrie Irving is not going for it. He's telling you he did not make the documentary. Why don't y'all go and talk to the brother who made the documentary, Ron Dalton? I just talked to him the other day. He's open and willing to have these conversations. He's open and willing to have these conversations if you're open to do a live dialogue with him. All right, let's let the truth come out. All right, if the truth is going to come out, Yahweh is going to bring the truth out. There's no ifs, ands, about it. It's just a matter of time. And watch how this thing unfolds. So now we see Kyrie Irving officially suspended for not apologizing after posting link to a video deemed anti-Semitic. Who deemed this movie anti-Semitic? And the person that deemed it anti-Semitic, did you even see the movie? Have you even watched the movie? I want to know. I want to know who this is. It's probably the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. That's what they do. They ride for their people. That's what we need. As the black nation, we need our own league. We need our own council of elders to come together for the betterment for our people. Because we are just all on separate mind lengths. We're all over the place. So now he's suspended, and then they're taking away 5 days paid. So he's not going to be paid. And this is what they said. Let me put my glasses on because this is kind of small. This is the press release statement from the Brooklyn Nets, and it reads, over the last several days, we have made repeated attempts to work with Kyrie Irving to help him understand the harm and danger of his words and actions, which began with him publicizing a film containing deeply disturbing anti-Semitic hate. We believe that taking the path of education in this challenging situation will be the right one and thought that we had made progress with our joint commitment to eradicating hate and intolerance. We were dismayed today when given an opportunity in a media session that Kyrie Irving refused to unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs, nor acknowledge specific hateful material in the film. This was not the first time he had the opportunity but failed to clarify. Such failure to disavow anti-Semitism when given a clear opportunity to do so is deeply disturbing, is against the values of our organization, and constitutes conduct detrimental to the team. Accordingly, we are of the view that he is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. We have decided that Kyrie Irving will serve a suspension without pay until he satisfies a series of objective remedial measures that address the harmful impact of the conduct, and the suspension period served is no less than 5 games. So basically they're muscling him. Don't be surprised if they make him say, I apologize. They muscling him. They got the power. They got the platforms. They got the businesses. They got everything. And that's why we're shucking and jiving, you know, many of our people. That's going on with this destruction of the black nation. Let's go into a video of 2 shucking drivers right here. I ain't gonna use the C word. Y'all know what the C word is. Let me find this footage for you. There you go. Check this out.
That exchange with 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗄 the other night after the game, and look, if he keeps making a big thing out of the word promotion, that is promotion. If on your social media you say, boom, here's a link to this, that tells me, hey, you should watch this. Correct? I mean, he's got 17 million Instagram followers, another 5 million or so on Twitter. You're all over social media. Do you ever put something out there, Shaq, that does not represent something that you feel?
I was probably one of the first guys on Twitter. And when I realized the power it had, I knew I had to be very responsible. Followers, platform, whatever you call it, I knew I had to be responsible. I try to make people happy. I try to make people smile. My formula has always been the same: 60% to make you laugh, 30% to inspire you, and 10% whatever I'm selling. You have to be aware of what you're doing. And you have to be aware that sometimes when you put stuff out, not everybody's gonna like it. Some people are conscious, some people are not. I can tell he's not conscious. He doesn't really care what's going on. But us, I know that you know, the game that we used to love and we promote, it brings people together. And it hurts me sometimes when we have to sit up here to talk about stuff that divides the game. Now we got to answer for what this idiot has done. You know, I stand for equality of all people. I've always been like that. Don't matter what religion, no matter where you're from. I could say Shalom, Salam Alaikum, 𝗍𝗵𝗿𝗍, because that's how I was raised. So I don't really want to sit up here and answer questions for what he's done. You know, if you're looking at me, it's my job to make people happy. I can't speak for him and, you know, answer for you know, what he's doing. It's obviously by his answers and the way he answers, he doesn't really care.
Sure. So, hold on real quick. So, you said that you believe in equality for all people. So if Kyrie Irving is telling you that he is a Shemitic person himself, and he knows that his roots trace back to Yisrael, why can't you accept that? Because they told you not to. That's why. So you're going to call him an idiot, and you're going to celebrate the fact that he's losing his job for 5 days or however long it's going to turn out to be. You're okay with that. This can't possibly be the same guy, Shaq, that used to break backboards back in the day. The same guy that made No Hooks. You know, that was a song. Who he did that song with? Wu-Tang Clan? This ain't the same guy. But it does make sense because we all know who Shaq represents. Now, I don't want to say it on my platform because it's a new platform and all they're going to do is strike me and take it down anyway because I'm already on thin ice with our other channel. But this can't possibly be the same Shaq Fu. You know, this can't be Shaq Fu. It cannot be. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
I think the NBA dropped the ball.
In what way?
I think he should have been suspended. I think Adam should have suspended him. First of all, Adam's Jewish. You can't take my $40 million and insult my religion. If you're gonna insult me, you have the right.
Hold on. Look at it. Look at Stephen right here. All right, y'all know who Stephen is? Stephen is Samuel L. Jackson's character from Django Unchained. All right, look at Stephen right here. Wait a minute now, Kyrie. You can't go against Massa now. All right, he here for that girl. That's what he here for. That's exactly who he sound like right now. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Charles Barkley. You know NBA ring winning Charles Barkley, because my man Jordan shut you down. All right, let's get back on this. So you okay with the man losing his money? Come on now, Charles Barkley, you okay with that? Let's get back to the video.
But I have the right to say, no, you're not going to take my $40 million and insult.
So hold on. And before I continue, that's what I wanted to say. First off, he talked about Adam Silver and the $40 million that he gave him. First and foremost, and I hate this myself because I'm a small business owner. Don't ever tell me what you gave me. You ain't give me a damn thing. All right? I sold you a service and you paid for it. That's exactly what Kyrie Irving did. He has a talent that he sold to you and you paid for it, and he entertains the people that pay the organization to pay everybody. All right? So don't say that. Charles Barkley, you are one ignorant, illiterate son of a b. And that's how I'm going to leave it. And excuse the passion, but hey, man, we got to get it right, and we got to get it together, man. We got to get united, and we got to let people like that, we got to leave them in the dust, because all they're going to do is hinder us. Because I'm on the comment boards, I'm on the blogs and on the groups on Facebook and stuff like that. It's a lot of black people do not want to move out of the position that we in. They want to stay stagnated and continue to get the scraps that fall off the table. We are the chosen people, brother. Come on now, wake up. Let's go ahead and finish this.
My religion. I think the NBA, they made a mistake. We have suspended people and fined people who have made homophobic slurs, and that was the right thing to do. I think if you insult the black community, you should be suspended or fined heavily, depending. I saw they did the same thing to the kid in Minnesota this year when he made the gay slur. I think you should get suspended or fined. I think him acknowledging the Alex Jones thing should have happened with that too, because that dude's crazy. And I can't believe that we ain't talking about that. We're talking about this idiot. And when you say, if I say, hey, I'm agreeing with this movie, this book or whatever, I'm agreeing with it. I'm not gonna first of all, you know I don't do any social media, but when you're somebody as great as basketball like him, people gonna listen to you what you say. And there's some fringe people out there, but like I say, I blame the NBA. He should have been suspended.
And their conversations are continuing with the Brooklyn Nets,
it's too
with
late
the NBA,
now.
But they're also looking at, they're looking at how do we move forward at this so we don't go through this again. No, it's not too late to say how do we prevent this. It's not too late to do that. But I see what you're saying.
I want to say that the reason it's too late, the NBA is giving in to peer pressure. If one of our players do something, they have the right, the team or the league has to do something immediately. If you just give in to peer pressure, that's the problem I have. This should have been handled already.
Kenny, let's get into this. Go ahead.
All right. And then you see that? You see how quick we are to dismiss each other? He gonna tell the so-called white man it's already too late for this brother. What about repenting? What about people getting a second chance? What about remorse? And not saying that Kyrie Irving did anything wrong, but for the sake of saving his job, he doesn't deserve a second chance in their eyes. This is how quick they want to throw away the sleeve. See, The NBA is nothing more than a plantation. And the players are nothing more than slaves, brothers and sisters. You sign your life away when you sign that contract, and they want you to shut up and perform for the fans. That's what they want you to do. They want you to shut up and pick that cotton so they can make this money. It's the same exact thing. So what I want to do is, because I'm already over an hour, and I want to kind of shorten this time a little bit, because I do want to get this last scripture in for the Hebrew Israelite community and anybody else who's interested in hearing the scripture. Let's go to a rebuttal by a rapper. All right, Little Scrappy. All right, we're gonna go to him and let him rebut with it's not a direct rebut, but it's something interesting that Scrappy said about a lot of our people when it comes to supporting each other. Let's go ahead and get into this.
Now I gotta ask, because you know your car wreck incident, of course, touched the world, and it also was a resurgence of your career, and someone else had went through the same thing to kind of kick off his situation, which is Kanye West. Yeah. Because you in the celebrity world, I gotta get your thoughts on it. When you see the situation that's going on with Kanye now, where everyone's snatching him down, I heard he just walked into Skechers today, like, hey, let's talk.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts when you see that from, again, you're in this game. You know what it means to know your words and watch your words and make sure you maneuver through this correctly.
Right.
What are your thoughts when you see what's happening to him and how easily it's given to you could be taken away?
I feel like he was arrogant at one point, you know what I'm saying? But I feel him. I feel what he's saying. I feel it. I was telling my people, I feel like black people is the worst when it comes to criticism.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they will see all the other races jump on this one black person, and then they gonna go jump on them too, knowing that these people been killing us and they've been doing everything, and then these people say, oh, look what he's doing to the Jews. And Cuz said, well, black people were the first Jews. We can go let's go back. But when he said that, because none of the Jews never want to say, let's talk about the original shit. They be like, no, because we don't even know about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know about this shit. But it's 12 tribes, my nigga. It's 12 tribes and when you say 12 tribes, those are the 12 tribes that's still going on to this day. You know what I'm saying? Same tribes. It's the Asian motherfucker, the black motherfucker, the white motherfucker. You got a whole bunch of motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? So it like, when he went on that rant, he was trying to say something, but he just didn't know how to say it the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Again, I saw him trying to kind of word it.
He was trying to do it, but he too emotional. You know what I'm saying? So he gonna like I said, I'm an emotional dude, so I can see an emotional nigga when I see one. You know, when I see one, I know one when I see one. So I'm like, damn, cuz I even put that shit on my Twitter the other day. I'm like, everybody down in this man, and the majority of people that's down in him are black people. And like my homie Chu said, he was like, nigga, y'all talking about, you lost $1 billion, nigga, you ain't even got 1,000.
Right.
But you trying to down this man that can help you, all the black people, because he got $1 billion, he could have helped you. But you're trying to take him down with the white people. Why are you trying to help them? They don't help us when they people fuck up, they help their people. They be like, shit, I don't give a fuck how the black people think. I'm gonna help my people. Asian, I'm gonna help my people. Black people be like, I'm gonna turn on my people. Let's take them down. You know why it is? Because niggas is jealous.
Amen.
They already got us in a place to where we jealous of each other. Like, so if you got more money, I want to take you down first because you got more money. The little nigga in the hood just said the same shit you said. The white person where they stayed been saying it. The Asian, I seen the Asian get on there and say black people are stupid because they follow a religion and a history that they know nothing about, and it was just given to them. And that's a famous Asian person. Nobody ever said that, and I know a whole bunch of black people seen it. I know that because I seen them when I went down the list. I was like, whoa. But soon as a nigga like you, a nigga that you look like, say it, and you see all the white people, all the other races jumping on it, you be like, Shit, I ain't got the money he got, man. Fuck that nigga, man. Fuck that nigga. Go down, nigga. Go down, nigga. You be like, nigga, y'all the stupidest nigga in the world, nigga. You know why? Because he could have helped you. He could have helped you. Yeah, long down the line, he could have helped you. You'd have been one of the niggas he would help. But you don't know that. Yeah, we skin people. You know what I'm saying? We got the same color, my nigga. Quit being stupid. Get with him. Don't get him down because that nigga got more money than all of us. So get up under that nigga, like how we do all the rap niggas. Get up under them niggas and see how we can, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, cause
we gotta do something. Don't down the nigga. Like, find a way. You know what I'm saying? Find a way we can use this nigga. If he gonna act dumb, then we gonna use this nigga. And we're gonna get what we're gonna do. We're gonna make the black community strong, but the black community is only half. I ain't gonna see half. There's a quarter of us that want to be strong. You know what I'm saying?
See, even he says only about a quarter of people that's with it, and that's what it is. That's what we do. We hate on each other as a black nation because this type of thing has been taught to us. This behavior, it has been taught to us, you know, over the years. It was taught to us back in slavery. It was taught to us during the Jim Crow period. It was taught to us, you know, in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And, you know, the 90s that's when they really started to get hot and heavy with gangster music. That's when it really hit the scene. How do I know? Because I was there and I lived it. You know, I literally saw the music turn from Kid and Play and, you know, Brand Nubian and, you know, Poor Righteous Teachers. What was that group that said 93 too? Souls of Mischief. We had Public Enemy back then, you know, African Bambaataa, and, you know, remember Run DMC, you know, the old LL Cool J. Man, this was the positive music that was really, really helping to elevate our people. You know what I mean? And then that's when they brought in NWA and everything changed. The very first gangster music I started to hear, one of my cousins, I ain't gonna put her on blast, you know, shout out, you know exactly who he is when you hear this story. One of my cousins, she had an 𝗍𝗍 tape. I don't know if she got it from one of the homeboys in the neighborhood or whatever, but that was my first time hearing it. And I was listening to 𝗍𝗍 and the stuff he was saying, I was shocked. Little boy, just hearing this stuff. You know, children absorb things like a sponge. And I'm sitting there and my ear is like this, like super big. I'm listening to her play this music. And I was like, it was be this and hold this and nigga this and I kill you and all kinds of stuff. And I was just like, man, what is this? And from that point on, went from 𝗍𝗍, NWA, then groups like Ghetto Boys started coming out, Ice-T, all kinds of gangster rap that was just glorifying murdering and killing each other. And, you know, we are the only people on the face of the earth that will sing songs about killing each other for the enemy. They taught us that, brothers and sisters. They taught us that. And that's why this music and this culture is so toxic. You know, and if we say anything, and I had a post where I said something about us turning away from that, and, you know, people were jumping on my case about it, you know, and then tried to take the conversation into religious talk. Like, come on, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. You can't talk to me about the Bible. You're going to get destroyed there. Come on. And this is no brag or boast, but, you know, Hebrew Israelites are Yah's chosen people. We have the spirit of Yah on it. If you're a true Hebrew Israelite, you're going to be guided by his light. And there's nothing that paganism can do against the truth. All right. So somebody tried to go into that Christian shuffle about what the Bible meant and all that. And I was like, look, I'm not here to discuss Bible hermeneutics and theology with you. I'm here to talk about the destruction of gangster music in our community. I said, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. That music has created a culture. And it's not the only thing. Of course, it was the drugs and the guns put in our neighborhood and all of that stuff. You know, the welfare system, taking the black man out of the house, you know, letting our women raise our babies by herself. You know, it's so many things that they did to destroy us as a people. And yet, we got people coming against me trying to talk Bible talk when we're talking about the gangster music. People do that all the time when they find out I'm a Hebrew Israelite. They want to just get on my case about the Bible. Just like Kyrie Irving didn't write Hebrews the Negroes. I didn't write the Bible. The Almighty Yahweh did. All right? And the whole message of the Bible is to not sin. And if those people over there claim to be the people, you should not be sinning, and you should not be pitching death to a whole nation of people. All right? The hell out of here with all that nonsense, man. All right? We need to wake up. So I got 2 more pieces of footage I want to play. And then, matter of fact, let me hold off on that. Let me take my hat off. Let's go ahead and we're going to read this scripture. And then we're going to go ahead and get into that last piece of footage so we can go ahead and end this video. For all you that stuck around to listen to Brother Makkedah Yisrael, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this content so that we can reach more of our people that need to hear this truth. We need to unite, brothers and sisters. We have to really unite and go there. All right, so this is the second book of Adam and Eve. We at True Light Ministries believe in the book of Adam and Eve. And, you know, if you're of a camp and, you know, other sects and you don't want to believe in it, you're right. But we believe in it. And because it harmonizes with the Genesis story and with Jasher and Jubilees, and it all runs in concurrent with each other. So that's why we believe it. And the Spirit of Yahweh tells us that it's true. All right. All right. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and start here in chapter 20. And I'm going to read verses 1 through 39. It's a little long, but not really, especially with the information that's coming out. So as you all know, Father Adam and Mother Hawa, that's Eve, her name means mother of all living, were expelled out of the garden. They had 2 sons, one Abel, one Cain, and Cain killed Abel, and then they had a 3rd son named Seth, and then Seth had descendants. So we're going to read about Seth and Cain and his descendants and something that happened. All right, and it reads, after Cain had gone down to the land of the dark soil, this is when he was ejected out for killing his brother, and his children had multiplied therein, there was one of them whose name was Ganun, son of Lamech, the blind who slew Cain. But as this Ganun, Satan came into him in his childhood, and he made sundry trumpets, or different trumpets and horns and string instruments, cymbals and psalteries, and lyres and harps and flutes, and he played on them all times, at every hour. And when he played on them, Satan came into them, so that from among them were heard beautiful and sweet sounds that ravished the heart. See, y'all got to understand that Satan was the minister of music in heaven. All right, he was an anointed cherubim, and one of his jobs was to minister to music. All right, and that's why Satan uses music to deceive the nations. Like I said at the beginning of this, we receive these talents because we're supposed to use them to glorify Yahweh. But Satan used music to deceive. Now check this out. Then he gathered companies upon companies to play on them. And when they played it, it pleased well the children of Cain, who inflamed themselves with sin among themselves, and burnt as with fire, while Satan inflamed their hearts one with another and increased lust among them. Satan also taught Ganun to bring strong drink out of corn. And this Ganun used to bring together companies upon companies and drink houses, and brought into their hands all manner of fruit and flowers, and they drank together. So you're reading about how Satan started to introduce them to spirits or to drinks to enhance their inhibitions, to lower their inhibitions, and to make them inflame in their heart with lust for one another. And then he taught them to bring strong drink. That's corn. That's really supposed to be grain. So they was making grain liquor and stuff like that, because corn is not from that portion of the world over there. You know, basically Ganun used to bring together companies upon companies and drink houses. That's like bars, nightclubs, stuff like that we have now. But back then they called them drink houses. All right. That's how you know that that's a sin to be out there in those type of atmospheres. Verse 6. Thus did this 𝗀𝗃 multiply sin exceedingly. He also acted with pride and taught the children of Cain to commit all manner of the grossest wickedness, which they knew not, and put them up to a manifold doings which they knew not before. Then Shaitan, when he saw that they yielded to 𝗀𝗃 and hearkened to him and everything he told them, rejoiced greatly, increased 𝗀𝗃's understanding until he took iron and with it made weapons of war. So you're seeing him, being influenced by Shaitan to make weapons, and weapons are used to kill people. Excuse me. Then, when they were drunk, hatred and murder increased among them. One man used violence against another to teach him evil, taking his children and defiling them before him. And when men saw they were overcome and saw others they were not overpowered, those who were beaten came to 𝗀𝗃, took refuge with him, and he made them his confederates. Then sin increased among them greatly, until a man married his own sister, or daughter, or mother, and others, or the daughter of his father's sister, so that there was no more distinction of relationship, and they no longer knew what is iniquity, but did wickedly, and the earth was defiled with sin, and they angered Yahweh the judge, who had created them. But 𝗀𝗃 gathered together companies upon companies that played on horns and on all the other instruments we have already mentioned, at the foot of the holy mountain. And they did so in order that the children of Seth, who were on the holy mountain, would hear. See, Seth and them were ordered to stay separate from Cain and his descendants, to be the holy seed, to stay away from them. So we're about to read about what happened, in this history. Verse 12. But when the children of Seth heard the noise, they wondered and came by companies and stood on the top of the mountain to look at those below, and thus did a whole year. So they was just checking it, like, what's going on at the bottom of this mountain? Now, the mountain was so ragged and stuff, they couldn't climb the mountain and they couldn't go down the mountain, right? Because if they went down the mountain, they wouldn't be able to get back up there. So they did this for a whole year, just like, what is this these people are doing down there? When at the end of that year, 𝗀𝗃 saw that they were being won over to him little by little, Satan entered into him and taught him to make dyeing stuffs for garments of different patterns, and made him understand how to dye crimson and purple and whatnot. And the sons of Cain, who wrought all this and shone in beauty and gorgeous apparel, gathered together at the foot of the mountains in splendor, with horns and gorgeous dresses and horse races, committing all manner of abominations. Meanwhile, the children of Seth, who were on the holy mountain, prayed and praised Yahweh in the place of the host of angels who had fallen. Wherefore Yahweh had called them angels, because he rejoiced over them greatly. But after this, they no longer kept his commandments, nor held by the promise he had made to their fathers. But they relaxed from their fasting and praying, and from the counsel of Jared their father. And they kept on gathering together on the top of the mountain to look upon the children of Cain from morning until evening, and upon what they did upon the beautiful dresses and ornaments. Then the children of Cain looked up from below and saw the children of Seth standing in troops on the top of the mountain, and they called to them to come down to them. But the children of Seth said to them from above, we don't know the way. Then 𝗀𝗃, the son of Lamech, heard them say they did not know the way, and he bethought himself how he might bring them down. Then Shaitan appeared to him by night, saying, there's no way for them to come down from the mountain on which they dwell. But when they come tomorrow, say to them, come ye to the western side of the mountain. There you will find a way of a stream of water that comes down to the foot of the mountain between two hills. Come down that way to us. Then when it was day, 𝗀𝗃 blew the horns and beat the drums below the mountain. as he was wont. The children of Seth heard it and came as they used to. So you see, this is where you're introducing that beat of the drum. That's those enchanting beats that hip hop has. It has an enchantment in it. You adjust frequencies and stuff like that, and you can really draw people in. And that's what really grabs people's attention, is the beat, because most rappers nowadays cannot rap. You got a few that still can do it. Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and some of them. But a lot of these new rappers is 100% garbage. All right? But that's who the culture vultures, they put their money into them and they really promote them. And, you know, we fall for it, hook, line, and sinker every time. So that's what they use. When it was day, Ganon blew the horns and beat the drums below the mountains as he was wont. And the children of Seth heard it, and they came as they used to do. Then Ganon said to them from down below, go to the western side of the mountain. There you will find the way to come down. But when the children of Seth heard these words from him, they went back into the cave to Jared to tell him all that they heard. Then when Jared heard it, he was grieved, for he knew that they would transgress his counsel. After this, 100 men of the children of Seth gathered together and said among themselves, come, let us go down to the children of Cain and see what they do, and enjoy ourselves with them. But when Jared heard this of the 100 men, his very soul was moved, and his heart was grieved. He then arose in great favor, and stood in the midst of them, and adored them by the blood of Abel, the just. Let not one of you go down from this holy mountain and pure mountain, in which our fathers have ordered it to dwell. But when Jared saw that they did not receive his words, he said unto them, O my good and innocent and holy children, know that when once you go down from this holy mountain, Yahweh will not allow you to return again to it. He again adjured them, saying, I adjure by the death of our father Adam, and by the blood of Abel, of Seth, of Enos, and of Kenan, and of Mahlalel, to hearken to me, and not to go down from this holy mountain. For the moment you leave it, you will be reft of life and old mercy. And you shall no longer be called children of Yahweh, but children of the devil. All right, you want to go down there? You want to hear those drums? You want to be merry? You want to drink and party and fornicate and all that stuff? All that stuff that the hip-hop industry promotes. You want to do that? Then you will not be the children of Yahweh. You will be the children of the devil. All right? I guess it's safe to say I was a child of the devil at one point, because I was hot and heavy in the hip-hop industry. I loved it. I was out there in the world before I was married, and when I was single and all that, out there hooking up with different women and drinking and partying and smoking weed and everything. Yeah, brother Makkedah used to do that. I was a partier. Not like a social butterfly, so to speak, but when it was time for us to go out, we went out and we had a good time. I thank Yahweh for taking me out of that culture, that hookup culture, you know, sleeping around, you know, different women and all that kind of stuff. That is not a healthy lifestyle. That is not healthy. That is not how you build a nation. You build a nation by building a family and keeping your family together. That is how you build the nation. Women, you follow your husbands. You listen to what your husband tell you to do. Nobody's saying that you got to be a slave, but obey your husband and help him build your family up. Let him lead and be the leader that he's supposed to lead. How he's going to protect you if you won't listen to him and follow him. A submissive man can't protect you, sisters. A submissive man will not be able to protect you when the heat is on. You need an alpha to lead your family, and that is how you build the nation. All right? So it says, but they would not hearken to his words. Verse 29, Enoch at the time was already grown up, and in the zeal of Yahweh he arose and said, hear me, O sons of Seth, small and great. When you transgress the commandment of our fathers and go from this mountain, you shall not come up hither again forever. But they rose up against Enoch and would not hearken to his words, but went down from the mountain. And when they looked at the daughters of Cain, at their beautiful figures, and at their hands and feet dyed with colors and tattooed and ornaments on their faces, the fire of sin was kindled in them. Did you hear that? Let's put that in today's time. When they went down and looked at those beautiful figures, the fire of sin was kindled in them, the ornaments. That's what we look at today. The hip-hop culture has taught us to objectify women, to look upon their beautiful shapes and beautiful faces and the things that they wear. I'm guilty as that too, brothers and sisters. When I was out there in that culture, when I was single, because I don't mess around on my wife. But when I was out there, me and a few of my friends, we had groups where we was like, you know, sending each other pictures of beautiful women and stuff like that. Like, yo, check her out. Check this one out. And then there's men out here that do that with, what is it called? Pedophilia and stuff. Looking at child pornography and stuff like that. See? The lust of the flesh. And that's all it was. So that's what it was with us. You know, 𝗍𝗵𝗿𝗄 started it with that, I like big butts and I cannot lie. You remember that song? In that video, women with big voluptuous shapes and at the car wash, soap suds, and putting it on, I think that's the video, putting it all on the glass and all that. And if that's not the video, I stand corrected. But I know he had a video like that. And man, 𝗁𝗨. Remember 𝗁𝗨? Funky Cold Medina. Yup. And that's what we was doing back then, objectifying our women. Women are not to be objectified. Women are the ones that bring forth the nation through their womb. They have to be protected at all times. They have to be covered. I'm about to go into that, brothers and sisters. They have to be covered or else. Or else what? Tune in. We're about to go into that. So let's go ahead and finish this. Verse 32. Then Shaitan made them look most beautiful before the sons of Seth, as he also made the sons of Seth appear of the fairest in the eyes of the daughters of Cain, so that the daughters of Cain lusted after the sons of Seth like ravenous beasts, and the sons of Seth after the daughters of Cain until they committed abomination with them. You can only use your imaginations on what they were doing with these women. What kind of practices they was doing. It's called abomination. That's why you must marry before you hook up. I've repented of all that stuff I used to do back in the day. It's better to marry than to burn. That's what the Bible says. But after they had thus fallen into the defilement, they returned by the way they had come and tried to ascend the holy mountain. But they could not, because the stones of the holy mountain were of fire flashing before them, by reason of which they could not go up again. And Yahweh was angry with them and repented of them, because they had come down from glory and had thereby lost or forsaken their own purity or innocence, and were fallen into the defilement of sin. Then Yahweh sent his word, that's Yeshua, his word to Jared, saying, These thy children whom thou didst call my children, behold, they have transgressed my commandment and have gone down to the abode of the perdition and of sin. Send a messenger to those that are left, that they might not go down and be lost. Then Jared wept before Yahweh and asked of him mercy and forgiveness, but he wished that his soul might depart from his body rather than hear these words from Yahweh about the going down of the children from the holy mountain. But he followed Yahweh's orders and preached unto them not to go down from the holy mountain and not to hold intercourse with the children of Cain. But they heeded not his message and would not obey his counsel. That's us. We do not obey the commandments of the Almighty. And that is why we are in the problem that we are in today. That is the biggest problem, because sin is the transgression of Yahweh's commandments. And where there's sin, it only multiplies. it gets worse and worse and worse from there. All right, we got a couple more pieces of footage. I have to play these. One's from an elder. Let's go ahead. This is Dr. Amos Wilson. Let's go ahead and listen to this.
You can call it religion, ethnicity, anything you want to, but its ultimate reality is that it is used to do what? Control the behavior and perceptions of other people in the interest of the people who belong to that thing. That's all it is. And the first question you ask, and so the thing goes out, you're anti-Semitic. Now, it doesn't matter what you said, whether you told the truth or not the truth, or this or that, has nothing to do with that. Not at all. It has to do, now the next question you're going to ask is, oh, how can I not be anti-Semitic? Don't say this, don't say that, don't do this, don't do that, and then we won't call you what? Anti-Semitic. And so when in striving to be what? Not anti-Semitic, you then what? Fall under the control of another people. Regardless as to whether they are right or wrong, or regardless of how unfair they are, as soon as you meet the requirements of not being called anti-Semitic, you're under control. And yet here's a people that's less than 3% of the American population, less than 1/10 of the world's population, who through the use of that term and through the throwing of that accusation can manipulate whole political and economic and social systems. And then they're the first one to tell you that you shouldn't talk in terms of race.
Let me ask y'all a question. What nation of people on this planet has been through the worst Holocaust in all humanity? I'm going to leave it as a rhetorical question, but y'all know the answer to that. Come on. How many captivities have the children of Israel been in? And the children of Israel is still in a captivity to this day. I can prove that with the Bible, but we see it with our own eyes. And unless we turn from this toxic way of life, this toxic culture called the hip-hop culture, the NBA culture, all these different companies that are using us for our talent while they're getting rich. You know, take our talent. Let's take our talent away and let them shuck and jive for the fans. You go out there and you catch that ball. You go out there and shoot that ball. Or you go out there and put them boxing gloves on and fight one of your own brothers. Or you go out there and fight one of them Mexicans. Or get in that cage and fight. They're not going to do that. They want you to perform so they can make the money and they can stay hidden. That's how they were able to survive all this time, by staying hidden. But we like to be seen. We like to be out there. We like everybody to see our talent instead of using our talent for Yahweh the way it's meant to be. I got somebody that can articulate this very, very well when it comes to the music industry. Let me find this. This person name is, he's a former music executive named Robert Starbucks. And let me go ahead and allow him to articulate this to you. Check this out.
Seeing that a rapper from Migos died, I just wanted to go ahead and make a video about something I have a unique experience in. So I directed a bunch of rappers, people like Gucci Mane, Snoop Dogg, Lil Yachty, the list goes on and on and on, okay? I learned a lot of things, and I have left the industry largely over my political beliefs, but there is something I want to impart to people to hopefully, make some sort of change happen. So I have a challenge to rappers, and I know some of you still follow me. I know a bunch of the celebrity blogs still follow me from trying to get news from music videos and things like that. So here's the truth. The truth is this: a bunch of young black male rappers keep dying. You know who's not dying? record executives, the record executives that push for them to continue to make songs and create a culture that is obsessed with death, drugs, and sex, period. The industry is obsessed with it, but those record executives, they're not dying because they don't push this culture on their own people, but they're encouraging you to push it on yours, and they're paying you handsomely to do it. The reality is, I know a lot of you are good people, you're family guys. You're not the image that you put out there to the world. Why? Why don't you be the example? Stand up. I challenge you. Be the example. Make music about the culture you want to see. Don't just get online today and talk about how, whenever a rapper makes it, his own people take him down. Don't just make those videos. Don't be sad. Don't rest in peace. None of that stuff. Be the change you want to see. Inspire it in your community. Reach out to other rappers and say, we have to stop. We're being used. You've been used for a long time. They create this paradigm to make you believe that you're so important and your celebrity status is worth so much, but in truth, you're a pawn in their game and you always have been. The government has wanted to hold down communities of people in different ways through different methods for a very long time. Their method in the black community has been to use entertainment to create a culture obsessed with death, drugs, sex, and money, so that they could create a false paradigm of what happiness and what success really was. And in doing so, they created a world that also made people more dependent on government, and as a result, gave themselves more power. The record executives that push you to do this, to go and continue to profit off the backs of your work, they're in cahoots with the elite. They're in cahoots with the government. They want you to think you're important, but in truth, you're just doing their dirty work for them, so stop. They've empowered you in ways that are real. You have an audience, you have platforms, you have the ability to make change. So go against the grain together. They're more afraid of you all together standing up and creating a new culture that's built around family, faith, freedom, doing the right thing, valuing life, than they are of anything else. So I challenge you, use your power to do the right things. If you continue to do the same thing you've done, more rappers like this are going to die. How many have to die before you change the culture? And let me tell you something else. There's a reason the record labels pay us more to do rap videos. They don't tell you that, do they? Do they tell you that they pay us more to do your videos? Because they do. They do it because they know it's more dangerous. They do it because they know it's more difficult. And they do it because, frankly, there's a lot of money laundering involved. Those labels wash a bunch of money through. We don't do it, but we know the labels are doing it 100%. Okay, they're then taking the money off the top end, and you see on your royalty check, oh, they spent $150,000 on this video. Did they? Because we didn't see $150,000. Okay, and to who? Their friend's company? A lot of times that's the case. Same thing with insurance companies. They charge us more to insure your videos. And it's because they know the culture that's been created. They know that the only possibility of a music video being shot up is on a rap video. And that's the truth. So change the culture. You have the power. Your people deserve it.
Yep, that's an absolute truth. I've heard the stories back in the day of different gangs and stuff showing up on the set of West Coast rappers and shooting and stuff like that. So that what the brother just said is absolutely right, and I really commend him for making that video, because he could be just like a lot of the other people in his position and just mind their business and worry about their people. But he's trying to put you on game. He was in that industry and he's seen how destructive it was. And there's something in his heart that's like, wait a minute, this is not right. Because it's not right. We were all under the spell of those drums that I just read about in the book of Adam and Eve. We've been under those spells for over 30-something years now. It's time for us to let them drums go. It's time for us to just worry about ourselves and build ourselves up as a people. Many of us are waking up to this truth. Many of us are finding out that we are the true children of the book. And even if we're not blood descendants of the book, you still have a way that you can get into the kingdom as well. and it's through the nation of Israel. All you have to do is join and be a part of it. How do you join? Go and get baptized in the name of Yahweh Yahshua and the Ruach HaKodesh. That's how. Go and get baptized in the name. Start keeping the Shabbat. All right, at the beginning of this video, you've seen an intro of me going into a Bible dictionary, defining the word Sunday. And they debunk, this is a Christian Bible dictionary, and it is debunking what Sunday is. Sunday is not the day of worship. It's pagan. Our day of worship is the Shabbat. And somebody's hijacked that as well. And I don't mean those that practice Judaism. Who's hijacked the Shabbat? The ones that's pretending to be Israel. Because truth be told, there's going to be all nationalities in the congregation of Israel in the kingdom. Just because you're practicing Judaism don't mean you're going to make it. Just because you're practicing Christianity don't mean that you make it. And just because you claim to be a Hebrew Israelite doesn't mean you're going to make it. Yahweh is looking what's inside your heart and see how sincere you really are. How much do you really believe in him and his son? How much do you really keep these commandments? That is what's going to happen. That is what's going to count. All right. So look, brothers and sisters, I done talked enough. Let's give all praise and honor to the Almighty Yahweh, Elohim of the heavens and the earth, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, our high priest, and our soon to come King, Redeemer, and Deliverer. Hallelujah. Brothers and sisters, with that said, Yah willing, I'll see y'all next time. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Be safe out there, brothers and sisters. This thing is ramping up, and I really, really am starting to believe that vision I had of that black tsunami is this right here, and things are ramping up really, really fast. So get on the right side of righteousness, and let's go ahead and prepare and get ready for this thing to close out. Shalom, shalom, shalom.